Hey everybody, we're here at Fat Tap Brewery here in Oakland Park in Fort Lauderdale area to listen to FXE Football's proposal for the Lockhart Stadium. You know, as we all know, Inter Miami has put in a proposal for this piece of land, but so has FXE Football. So we're going to go inside, listen to what these guys have to say. They've got a proposal ready for us, and some fans helped put this whole thing together, so let's go inside and check it out.
To the folks at Flight 19 for inviting us tonight. It's an honor to be here, and we feel very strongly about bringing professional soccer back to Fort Lauderdale at the championship level. To tell you that we've been working on this project for almost 2 years now. We were part of the bidding process when the Strikers left town, and there was an RFP to operate all the soccer facilities in the stadium and bring soccer back to Fort Lauderdale. But now, as you can see up in the picture, we have a very, you could call it ambitious, but I think very doable plan to be able to give this incredible piece of land in uptown Fort Lauderdale life and make it a centerpiece for the development of the city and make it a centerpiece for what we think could be a world-class soccer facility. So, a little bit of background on myself. I'm CEO of Onside Entertainment. I'm managing partner of FXE Fútbol. Onside Entertainment is a soccer company which has, among other things, the rights to the Argentina national team with Messi and other national teams and clubs. We promote and produce international friendlies around the world. But we are based here in South Florida, and we believe that we can really revitalize this particular property to be a hub for international soccer and to be the home for a great championship level USL franchise. So we've been investing a lot in Broward County and bringing top South American and world soccer to the region. Why do we believe USL can be different than what has happened before? USL is going to be the league of the future in the United States. We've secured a letter of intent to bring a championship franchise, and we think that USL is going to be a very, very strong power today and in the future. They have less limitations than the MLS structure does. At the USL level, the ownership owns the team, owns the players. The salary caps are more flexible, and that means that you can have really the possibility to build a very young, very aggressive team. We believe that the USL championship level team we can bring to Fort Lauderdale can be a model for the USL and for US soccer of bringing young talents. And we work with all the major teams in South America. We represent Boca Juniors and River Plate and Atlético Nacional and América de Cali, and all the big teams in South America are represented by us in the United States. And they've reached out and they said, guys, you know, you get this franchise in Fort Lauderdale up and running, and we will send your best talent to develop here in Fort Lauderdale. Talent which will make us a winning team and which will give us a heads up on being able to move these players over to Europe down the road. The other reason we believe we're onto something with a USL franchise and we want to do something that where it has failed in the past, we think we can do it differently, is the concept of having a grassroots involvement in the team. It serves no purpose to bring a team here and just look out for the going after existing soccer fans without developing the youth system. We want the Fort Lauderdale kids to be involved with this franchise. We want them playing on those fields from day one. So to make sure that everybody in the community is involved from a young age. Those fields that you will see or you've seen in the renderings are fields for the community. They'll be the training grounds, obviously, for the USL franchise, but they will be fields to be used by Fort Lauderdale kids and clubs, and that's where we will build our fan base. So here is our proposal. You've probably seen the renderings, you probably had a chance to look at this, but just to run over them very quickly, our main objective is a full renovation of Lockhart Stadium. Unlike our competing bid, we are going to leave Lockhart. We're not going to tear it down. We believe it's a traditional historic stadium which deserves the respect of being always in Fort Lauderdale. We don't want to tear it down. We don't want to build a modular stadium with temporary bleachers. We want to keep Lockhart Stadium. We want to pump a lot of money into it, and we want to make it a world-class facility. So that's the full renovation of Lockhart Stadium. Yeah, we will see 7 professional fields, which are 14 junior fields, which will accompany the stadium. Those fields that I mentioned will be training grounds for the USL franchise. They'll also be available to the community, and they'll also be available to Fort Lauderdale clubs. We are going to bring, and we've signed a letter of intent, a top golf facility. We've heard from a lot of people in the community that Top Golf is a great entertainment value, and we think it's a perfect place to bring it in and include it into this sports and entertainment complex, so that there's a lot of things going on at all times. And we would like to bring some retail space, restaurants, bars, shops, so that this particular site becomes a full-on entertainment center for you guys. Once again, the difference, and I'm sure you all know because you're here tonight supporting us, between our proposal and that of our competitor, is that we are actually looking to build an all-inclusive venue for the community. Whereas our competitors are looking to build a private, enclosed trading compound and corporate offices for their MLS franchise. And I can tell you this because I've traveled the country and I've seen MLS training facilities. I've seen at least a dozen of them. They are enclosed facilities, not open to the public, and literally just basically a private deal. So we are going to offer the city a situation where the city and its constituents and its people can enjoy the venue and every one of its assets. So we received several questions which I'd like to address. How are we planning on financing this project? Well, the project will be financed mostly by funds that we have raised and that we have as a result of our business dealings. Initial stage contemplates about $50 million in investment. $20 million goes to building the Topgolf facility. Another close to $15 million for the first phase of Lockhart refurbishing, and the rest of the amount coming to rebuild the soccer fields and the adjacent facilities. The project has different verticals. The stadium obviously has to be programmed. We are looking to program the stadium obviously with the USL professional franchise. We are also going to have a lacrosse franchise that will probably make Lockhart their home. We will welcome football games, and we will also have other entertainments such as live music. We've engaged in conversations with the folks at Live Nation, which are ecstatic about having live music at the venue. We will also program the soccer fields. We will bring youth tournaments. We will have international teams doing pre-seasons there, and that generates revenue for us. We are very aware, we've been talking to USL now for almost a year, of the reality of what it takes to get a USL franchise off the ground. And the truth of the matter is that it takes about almost 3 years of losses to get it up and going. So we have budgeted in our financing the possibility of incurring 3 years of losses before we turn this around. So we are not going anywhere, and 1 or 2 or 3 bad years as we get off the ground will not deter our objective. If we win the bid, we have the team, right? So that's where we need your support. So you know, and you already know probably, the difference between our bid and the folks from Miami is that we have secured a championship level franchise, whereas they have a what's called a League One, which will be a third division franchise. So we have a different purpose, we have a different objective. We want to have 10, 15,000 people at that stadium every time the USL Fort Lauderdale franchise plays, which is a different objective than what our competitors have, which is having a third division training squad, which will probably draw 200 or 400 people per match. We're local, and we want to remain that way, and we feel that it's a better fit to have a Fort Lauderdale project in Fort Lauderdale than having a Miami project coming here, perhaps leaving as soon as they find a better spot. And yes, there will be free-to-play fields for the community. In our project, we're including free fields, and that's a very important element of our concept of being all-inclusive. If we win this year, thanks to you guys and your support, we're going to get to work right away. We'd like to be able to conclude at least the refurbishing of Lockhart between 12 and 18 months. But before that, we'll get the fields up and running, and we'll get the facility moving as soon as possible. So I would say if we win the bid, we'll have to go into a negotiation situation with the city to negotiate the lease. And once that negotiation has concluded, I'm looking at probably 8 to 12 months for the soccer fields to be ready and 18 months for the refurbished Lockhart. I think 2021 might be a more realistic objective for the first season. We were working on our own timeline, and we were probably going to be 2 weeks away from submitting when we were sort of blindsided by the Beckham proposal, which obviously accelerated everything. But it's not a problem because we were already very much down the road in preparing and presenting our project. So, obviously it accelerated things, but actually it's a good thing, right? I mean, because that way we got people talking. Well, absolutely. Well, Kartik, that the USL has a program for youth development academies such as the MLS does, so they would like to have that in place. And what we want to try to do is not limit the field space and bandwidth just to the academy sector, which is obviously, as you know, very competitive but not very inclusive. So we'd like to be able to have a youth academy so we could develop young talents that could go up the ranks to the USL Championship franchise. So to answer your first question, as you know better than me, the legal situation regarding the ownership of the striker name is complicated, right, to say the least. So we would need to reach out and we need to see if there's a possibility to acquire that name. I can't guarantee it's a possibility. We cannot acquire the name. I think we've spoken with Alex, my partner, and everybody involved at FXE, that we'd like to get everybody involved as to what the next name is for this team. So it's either the Strikers or a name you guys will choose. The City Commission has been starstruck by the name Beckham. And I don't blame them. It's a great name. A very good looking guy. Used to be
especially in his underwear.
Used to be a very good soccer player, and he really revitalized the MLS. So he deserves the name recognition. But I think the City Commission needs to be approached by folks like you who know soccer, who understand the difference between a name and a project. So whereas they're offering to come in, take 30 acres of city land, pay $1 a year rent to build a private enclosed facility with corporate offices for $1 a year with zero community involvement, we're offering a project that is open to the public, which will generate jobs and income and taxes for the city, and we need you to tell your city commissioners this is what's happening. Our proposal on March 1st, we're going to have a long list of all our financial backing so that they're comfortable that we're here to stay and we can handle the project for the long run. We can have the money to last the 3 years plus, and we are comfortable, and they are comfortable that we're not here today, gone tomorrow. So I can guarantee you, if we win the bid, it's because we pushed forward a proposal that is financially viable, our financing is strong, the city accepts it, and we'll be with you for the long run.
Well, I think it's a hotbed for soccer. There's a gigantic soccer community here. It's centrally located. Lockhart Stadium has been around for over 50 years, hosting some of the most memorable games that have ever been played in the United States. Pele, Beckenbauer, just go down the list, and they've played in Fort Lauderdale. And the future of soccer, as far as I'm concerned, in the United States is in Florida. And if there's a place in Florida where soccer is king, is South Florida, and I think Broward County and Fort Lauderdale is the epicenter. Well, I don't think they're going to vote for us. I think they should vote for us. As I mentioned, we have a different project that they're pushing or moving forward. Our project is based on a soccer venue, sports and entertainment complex for international soccer and a championship professional USL franchise. With sports and entertainment anchoring the concept and very community inclusive, developing the uptown region of Fort Lauderdale and being an all-inclusive entertainment venue. Their project, I believe, is basically a land grab. It's give me 30 acres of city land for $1 a year and let me build my private enclosed MLS training facility and my corporate offices for my employees, and let me build my academy for my 200 kids that will come from all over the country to play there. It will not generate jobs. It will not generate tax revenue. It will not include the community. I think our projects are 100% different. They want to tear down Lockhart Stadium. They want to build a modular stadium. That's a bleacher stadium. The day they're tired of that stadium, they pack it up and take it. There's no real investment. We want to refurbish Lockhart Stadium. I think it's day and night. It's two different proposals. We had reached out to them about 6 months ago as we were preparing our bid to offer them the possibility to be involved. Their answer at the time through some back channels was, we're busy now trying to win Mel Reese, Freedom Park. Once we get done with the November elections, we'll reach back to you and see what we can do. And then they never reached back. They never contacted us. They went ahead and submitted a bid the day before we were going to submit the bid. And then we said publicly, and I'll say it to you here, we are welcome and open to listening to anything they have to say. And if they want to do something together with us, we're very open. They just have not reached out to us. I think they consider us not a competition. So why would they waste time with us when they can get a sweet deal from the city? Perhaps that's why they decided that they're not going to talk to us. They basically, once they knew we were going to submit the unsolicited, they rushed to do it before us. First of all, let me make it clear. I'm a fan of MLS. I'm a fan of Inter Miami being hugely successful. I think it's very important for Miami to have an MLS team. I just believe the market is big enough for Miami to have an MLS team and Fort Lauderdale to have a USL team. So I don't have any problem supporting them. I will go to their matches. I will be their biggest fan. But I just don't think it's right for Fort Lauderdale to be Miami's stepchild. In other words, I think Miami deserves its MLS team and Fort Lauderdale deserves a championship USL team. And I think there's room for both of them.
I think it's a very exciting and ambitious proposal. It's definitely, if you could have asked me what my dream scenario for Lockhart would have been, 5-10 years ago, it's this. It's the stadium renovated, modernized. It's youth fields. It's got retail. It's got bars, things like that right around it. It's a destination, crown jewel kind of facility, which would be fantastic. So the plans themselves are outstanding and super exciting, especially also bringing a professional Fort Lauderdale team back as part of it is terrific as well. I think just purely as a fan, it's an independent, higher level team. It's not a reserve team. It's a shot to bring the strikers back. Whether that's a realistic possibility or not, it's still a shot. And it's from the city's perspective, from a business perspective, I think, because it has all the things that the Beckham bid would have. It has youth fields, it can do tournaments, it'll have a professional lower division team, but it has additional things that'll drive people to that area and bring revenue for the city. Hopefully they've got the driving range, Top Golf, restaurants, those sorts of things will activate the site more than just an academy and a B team that we know nobody goes to across the country. These MLS-owned reserve teams don't draw well. They're not very exciting. So just from a civic pride, from a fan, from a business standpoint, if they can back everything up that they want to do, I think it's a no-brainer that it makes sense for them to do it. Broward County has 2 million people in it. It's a big market. It's culturally different from Miami. It's almost a separate market along with Palm Beach. I think the market is there. If you do a team that connects with people, if you have a quality facility, if you have a good product, people will come and support it. When we were doing a decent job with the strikers, people were kind of coming out. It wasn't breaking any records or anything, but we had some decent crowds. People were getting engaged. We were building something up there until it kind of all fell apart at the end.
It was certainly interesting. Peter, you and I have been around probably longer than almost anyone in this room, right? So we've heard presentations like this before. We have what you would call, this is a little explicit, a bullshit detector. There were things that I thought were very that need to be flushed out more. But then there were things that were genuinely encouraging. I mean, I really like the idea of having 8 fields, for Fort Lauderdale youth, a free-to-play access for kids who are in not only for the clubs in Fort Lauderdale. That I knew that would be covered, but for maybe if residents of Fort Lauderdale or people in Broward County want to play pickup games. We have those sorts of things in Miami-Dade County in some places, and you don't have them in Broward. In Broward, you have to be part of a club to get a field. You can't play a pickup game anywhere. We don't have anything like Rooftop and Brickell here in Broward. So that was very encouraging to me. I think the retail stuff I'm a little dubious about. We've seen those plans before. Now, the sustainability of a USL team, Peter, that's up in the air. I genuinely, they gave some plans. I like that they understand they're going to lose money. That's very different than the owners we had for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers and for the old Miami FC. Traffic owned the Strikers and then the Brazilian owners after that. What I was concerned about was they talked about bringing players from abroad and selling players at the USL level to clubs in Europe. It's not going to happen. I'm just going to flat out say that. It's not going to happen. And if that's part of your revenue model, you need to rethink it. They haven't launched a team yet, so they need to rethink that. I do like that they're realistic about saying it's going to be 18 months before they get the thing really up and running. That's right. We've seen teams rush before and fail miserably. So I think it was a mixed bag. I heard more positive than I thought I would. I was quite skeptical coming in. But there's still some questions for me. I mean, I want one of the 2 bids to... Look, first off, my fear, I don't know if that's the fear of the other people in this room tonight, my fear is that nothing happens. Fort Lauderdale's commission has made mistake after mistake with that property. They've made mistakes in the city. They've made mistakes with mass transit. They just canceled the streetcar. I work in downtown Miami. I get around on the Metro Mover. We don't have anything like that in Fort Lauderdale. And the traffic, believe it or not, in Fort Lauderdale is worse than it is in Miami. I know a lot of people in Dade County may not know that. So I don't have any faith in this commission. I like both proposals, aspects of both proposals. I'd say I've leaned towards the Inter proposal because it would have a development academy aspect and a facility that I know would be used for youth tournaments, and we would have a high-level academy taking kids from Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties, giving them a place other than Kendall or Weston, and a free-to-play academy. Weston and Kendall are pay-to-play. So that's why I've leaned towards the Inter bid. I liked a lot of what I heard tonight. They talked about having an academy. They talked about youth programs. So we have to flush this out more. I think maybe I have more of a positive feeling about these guys after tonight, and I think JP and the group are very professional. I have a lot of faith in that they know this sport. I just still like the idea, and maybe I'm hung up on this, and most of the other people among supporters here in South Florida, Peter, may not care about this, the idea of having a free-to-play DA, because pay-to-play is such a big problem in this country. So if they could offer a free-to-play DA, which I don't think economically they can, then I might lean towards their bid. But I like that, at least to this point, Jorge Mas and David Beckham have talked about that.
All right, folks. Well, now we heard the presentation here at Fat Tap from FXE Football, Onside Entertainment. What do you think? What do you think of their proposal? It's pretty impressive. How do you think it stacks up to Inter Miami's proposal? Which one would you go for? If you're a Broward fan, are you more in favor of this, or are you like me and really want Inter Miami to have the land? The thing is, either way, as a soccer fan, we win. But, I have questions and I have concerns about this. Does Onside Entertainment, do they have the budget, the funds to really stand up through those lean years? That's really my big question. Will they be another Traffic Sports? Because, man, there are so many similarities to Traffic Sports. Only time will tell. And, hey, I wish these guys the best of luck. They put together a very nice presentation. But what do you think? What do you think of their presentation? And in the comments below, let us know. Which proposal would you vote for if you were on the Fort Lauderdale Commission? So, comment. Let me know. And thanks for listening. Hey, like and subscribe this video. And you know what? We will see you next week.